Chapter 15:15. Within the solar system, a white-clothed man and woman stood in space, looking at the distant, incomparably huge red planet. That was a red giant. Even if it's a new star, Luo Feng said softly, the moment the primal universe enters its final phase, it will rapidly age and decay, much faster than normal stars. It has already entered the red giant stage so quickly. Didn't you say it before? Beside, Su Xian smiled. Now that it's entering its final phase, the primal universe is absorbing all life energy, absorbing all celestial body energies. Naturally, it will decay quickly. Over the countless years, every star will reach the end of its life. We will move another star for Earth, and now even Earth has left. Luo Feng nodded. Not long ago, when the newborn star that had just been moved rapidly aged, the many champions of Earth's bloodline had decided to move the homeworld directly into a small universe. With Luo Feng's nod, they finally decided to move it into his small universe. Luo Feng would create a space within his small universe, completely recreating the environment of the solar system. Luo Feng sighed softly, one reincarnation, and it's about to end just like that. You still remember us? Su Xian reminisced about the past. Back then we were just two high school students in the headquarters city era of Earth. I didn't expect the two of us to live till this day, till the end of the universe. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at his wife beside him. The two exchanged glances and smiled. After which they turned to look at the red giant. It was bright red, very beautiful, almost like the sunset of Earth. After a while, HM? Luo Feng frowned. What's up? Su Xian asked curiously, after which she too sensed something and looked into the distance. A silhouette appeared in the distant space, following closely behind it as it flew over. It was a lord of the universe dressed in a colorful robe. Her eyes glowed with colorful light. She was one of the beast gods of the ancestor god Chert. She bowed respectfully. Great Milky Way Overlord, I'm here on the orders of the three ancestor gods. They say the primeval universe will be destroyed in 3 years. I believe Milky Way leader still remembers the promise from before. Please head to the ancestral god palace within 3 years. Luo Feng nodded. I understand. I won't disturb you any further. The female beast god bowed respectfully and left quietly. Only 3 years left. Su Xian sighed softly. 3 years. Luo Feng nodded. Su Xian looked at Luo Feng. She knew, the moment this reincarnation era ended, it wouldn't be long before Luo Feng would leave to enter the reincarnation cycle. How could she not be worried? In the last 3 years, the migration of all the races in the declining primeval universe accelerated. To think that even the primeval universe would be destroyed. I really want to bring more friends with me. It's a pity that we can only bring 10 people each. Stop lamenting. How big is the primeval universe? How big could a small-scale universe be? It is destined that 9,999% of the people above will not have the chance to move to a small universe. We are geniuses who have been recruited by the Milky Way nation. That is why we are allowed to bring 10 places. 2 young men were on a spaceship flying towards a planet in the distance. Mass relocation. Humanity's standard for relocation was to first bring all the sector lords, undyings, and even higher. Next would be the geniuses recruited by the Milky Way Nation, Virtual Universe Company, Battleaxe Coliseum, Universe Galaxy Bank, etc. Even if they weren't recruited in the genius battles, those with exceptional performances would still be brought away. Depending on their strength, they could even bring friends and family. Actually, comparatively speaking, humanity's relocation was already very merciful. It was much better than the demon race and automaton race, because humanity had an extremely powerful true god. Luo Feng. Even though humanity had 98 true gods, Luo Feng's small universe was over 1,000 times larger than the other true gods. He alone was comparable to 1,000 true gods' small universe. and Luo Feng and the ancestor would break through to void true God after this reincarnation era ended. When that time comes, the small universe would be able to hold even more life forms and warriors. Hence they didn't care about anything else and just stuffed in. They didn't have to worry about not being able to handle it in the future. Because the moment the small universe broke through, it would be much easier. Hence humanity's relocation was extremely large. However, compared to the countless humans in the primeval universe, it was still an unknown number of them. Within Luo Feng's small universe, 9-world mountain. 9-world mountains spring water gurgled. Tall mountains were connected and there were birds and beasts everywhere. It was a beautiful place. It was also where Luo Feng secluded himself and trained. Usually, this place was managed by Maruza. So. In the distance, a large number of silhouettes flew over. Luo Feng, who was chatting with his parents and wife, turned to look. Over 1,000 silhouettes landed and bowed respectfully. Milky Way primogenitor. These over 1,000 were all universe lords. Humanity had a total of 1,222 universe lords. During this relocation, the universe lords were scattered into many small universes. Luo Feng's small universe was the largest. Naturally, most of them came, especially those with the potential to become true gods. Almost all of them came. Humanity had over 900 universe lords in Luo Feng's small universe. Along with some of the races in the Great Alliance that didn't have true gods, as the leader of the Great Alliance, they naturally had to take care of them. Hence, over 300 universe lords came to Luo Feng. Humanity had over 900 universe lords. They also brought along a sea of humans. They were all universe knights, undyings, sector lords, countless geniuses, countless additional people, etc. You're all here. Luo Feng smiled. Then let's follow the plan from before. Yes, primogenitor. Over 1,000 universe lords all replied respectfully. After which they swiftly left. They scattered to the 100,000 planes and began to release the humans they brought. In the future, these humans would live in the different planes. Father, you've already become a primogenitor, Luo Hai said enviously. The future generations of humans will all be in Father's universe, Luo Ping said. And Father will break through soon. When that happens, our Milky Way sacred land universe will be eternal. In the future generations of life from the reincarnation era, Father will naturally be the primogenitor. Luo Feng smiled at the sight. Right. He and the original ancestor could become a void real god at any time. Hence, the humans had long called out the names Original Ancestor Sacred Land Universe and Milky Way Sacred Land Universe. They called Luo Feng and the original ancestor the Milky Way Primogenitor and Original Ancestor respectively. Luo Feng turned to look. 6 silhouettes flew over. Milky Way. These 6 silhouettes were humble and respectful. Jueha Shuelon, Heng Xing, you're all here. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. The 6 before him were the true gods from the first and second reincarnation era. The great apocalypse was about to happen. To the first reincarnation era, if they didn't make it through the reincarnation, they would be destroyed. They were very clear that they didn't have the ability to succeed. Hence, they naturally hoped to rely on the other small universe. However, the capacity of a small universe was limited. Who would be willing to accept others? Only Luo Feng's side was the easiest to break through. That was because his small universe was the largest. He would become a void true god very quickly. Go. Luo Feng said. Yes. The 6 true gods were extremely grateful. Luo Feng watched as they left. The reason why he accepted these 6 true gods was firstly because of their past relationship. Secondly, he was currently at the limit of void true god. If he were to comprehend the destruction of the primal universe and interact with Maluo Sa, he believed it wouldn't take long for him to break through to eternal true God. When that happens, his capacity would be even larger. Once I become an eternal true God, there will definitely be strong warriors in my small universe who can become true gods. Luo Feng thought to himself. It wasn't impossible for the life forms in the small universe to become true gods. A true god's small universe could only nurture a universe lord at most. A void true god's small universe could nurture a true god. However, the price was extremely high. Every time a true god was born, he had to separate a small universe from his body. Void true gods were rarely willing to do so. However, once Luo Feng became an eternal true god, the price was bearable. It wouldn't take long for his own universe to recover. Just like the Gene world, which was also a small universe, it could even nurture an eternal true god. Ancestral God Palace. Luo Feng, who was dressed in white, stepped into the Ancestral God Palace. Milky Way, you're finally here. There's only 1 month left before the Great Apocalypse. The old ancestor god, who was sitting above the 3 ancestor gods, smiled. You're here. Our final mission is considered complete. According to the original will's instructions, you just have to stay in the Ancestral God Palace. The 3 of us will be leaving. The 3 ancestor gods smiled and bid farewell to Luo Feng, after which the 3 of them began to leave the primeval universe. All the warriors in the secret region had left. All the warriors in the primeval universe had left long ago. Not many remained. Great Apocalypse. The white-clothed Luo Feng stood there and said softly. This wasn't his real body, but a god energy clone. Rumble. The space around Luo Feng suddenly warped and a natural wormhole appeared. A formless willpower enveloped Luo Feng. Let me in. Luo Feng understood what the original will meant. He wasn't afraid and took a step in. He felt space warp and he entered a vast and mysterious space. There were countless light specks floating in this space. Every speck of light contained great power. The weaker ones were comparable to universe lords. The stronger ones even made Luo Feng's heart palpitate. In this space, Luo Feng seemed very small. It's here. Luo Feng recalled back when he was bestowed with the natural talent, I am the universe. His consciousness had entered this space before. Back then, a speck of light had touched him and allowed him to acquire the natural talent, I am the universe. Back then, his level was still very low. However, now it was different. His level was higher and he could see more. This space was probably the primeval universe's origin grounds. Of the countless specks of light, only a few contained the inheritance information. Most of them were filled with endless origin energy. Every speck of light was like a vast world, filled with endless energy. Luo Feng smiled. With a step and a flash, he was about to touch a speck of light. However, that speck of light naturally floated and instantly retreated a few light years away. It didn't even let Luo Feng touch it. Ha ha! Luo Feng laughed loudly, after which he sat cross-legged in this space. Wah! Suddenly a rainbow light appeared in the primeval universe's origin space. The hazy rainbow light was like a rainbow that enveloped Luo Feng. The moment it enveloped Luo Feng, he immediately felt his body expand. His willpower began to naturally permeate the entire primeval universe. Starfields, universe secret regions, desolate starfields, primal planet. It was as small as a sand grain. It was as large as a vast origin law ocean, swiftly permeated by Luo Feng's willpower. At this moment, Luo Feng felt as though he had become the primeval universe. Mysterious. This is the structure of the primeval universe? Luo Feng was completely immersed in it. Within the primeval universe's origin space, there were countless specks of light. These specks of light could be divided into 100,000 factions. The 100,000 factions revolved in the center. This was the structure of the beginning of the One Yuan. However, it was more intricate than Luo Feng's. Luo Feng's was the beginning of the One Yuan, 100,000 heavens. And this was the beginning of the One Yuan, 100,000 heavens forming endless space. Origin law ocean. So the energy absorbed can be stored in the universe in such a way. Luo Feng was shocked. Natural wormhole, universe secret region, so this is life energy. Even though Luo Feng couldn't see through the most basic life energy, just being able to look at the primeval universe from the inside out, from the microscopic to the macroscopic, allowed him to comprehend a lot. The benefits were shocking. However, comparatively speaking, it's still the final great destruction of the primeval universe that's the most helpful. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged within the primeval universe's origin space, silently waiting for that moment to arrive. The primeval universe is about to be destroyed. This scene is extremely shocking. I've seen it personally back then. Within the chaos energy pervading space, on a gray ship, rampaging demon was speaking without restraint. Beside him stood many universe lords, large amounts of knights, undyings, and even geniuses that were nurtured. How long has it been since the primeval universe was destroyed? We're in space. Will the destruction of the primeval universe affect us here? Many humans in the palace asked. Don't worry, it won't affect us at all. Back then, rampaging demons spoke excitedly. Loneliness was indeed a form of torture. Even if one was invincible, if one had to live alone, how torturous would that be? Rampaging Demon found his happiness again after residing in Luo Feng's small universe. He was naturally optimistic. Ships and palaces, within the chaos energy space, the warriors from the various races of the primeval universe were all waiting silently, waiting for the moment of destruction. It's destroyed. It's beginning to destroy. The universe's membrane is breaking apart. The warriors of the various races were both emotional and emotional as they watched this scene. Because there were still many ordinary people that hadn't been moved. Because even Luo Feng's small universe was pitifully small compared to the primeval universe. It was destined that the ordinary people would be destroyed along with the primeval universe. The primeval universe was beginning to be destroyed. Before, it was still the apocalypse. However, in that instant, the entire origin space immediately produced an overwhelming amount of energy that madly swallowed everything. Even though the primeval universe was vast, all of its membranes instantly began to tear apart and crumble. The universe's secret regions and star fields too began to crumble. The black holes began to dissipate. The mineral planets, dying stars, and even some life planets all began to crumble. As they crumbled, they quickly became particles. Rumble. At this time, the origin space itself began to shrink. All of the life force energy was madly absorbed into the origin space. The countless normal lives that were originally living, some babies were just born, some old were lying in hospitals, some young were in love, some enemies were fighting, however in an instant, they were all destroyed. The endless life force madly surged into the core of the universe. Silence. In the cosmic ocean, the many ships and palaces that were watching the destruction of the universe held their breaths in shock. Even though they had heard of it before, they were still completely shocked when they saw it with their own eyes. The countless particles formed a huge whirlpool. The huge tearing force, even a small universe would instantly shatter if it entered. That kind of violence! That kind of violence! It made all the warriors hold their breath. The universe lords and true gods used their control of space and time to transmit everything that happened from so far away. Everything was clearly visible. It was because they could see it clearly from such a close distance that the shock was so intense. Every warrior trembled within. This is destruction? The ancestor was shocked too. The moment the primeval universe was destroyed, the endless tearing force was so strong that even a sliver of it was enough to destroy him. This extremely strong destruction made the ancestor tremble. No one's shock was as strong as Luo Feng's. The beings of the various races were only watching from afar in the cosmic ocean. Luo Feng's willpower permeated every corner of the primeval universe. His body was like the primeval universe itself. The destruction at this moment was too clear to him. First, the beginning of first yuan in the origin source space spun more than 10,000 times faster than before. Moreover, its speed was not constant but varied. The countless specks of light from the 100,000 camps were all shattered and devoured. Even the entire origin source space rapidly shrank. The entire origin source space produced an unimaginable devouring power. Swallow. Do your best to swallow. Swallow all life forms, dead things, swallow the entire primeval universe. Everything collapsed and became countless particles that swirled madly into the origin space. All the life force was completely absorbed. To cause such a huge primeval universe to be completely destroyed and absorbed in such a short period of time, the life force had to fly so fast that it exceeded 100 billion or even trillions of times the speed of light. It was absolutely violent, barbaric. Rumble. When all the life force was absorbed into the origin space, the primeval universe origin space immediately let out a glaring rainbow light. The light was eye-catching, and the area it covered exceeded the size of the primeval universe before. The glaring rainbow light even shone into every ship and palace in space. It's too shocking. Beautiful. The beings of the various races held their breath. The primeval universe vanished, leaving only the origin space. The surroundings of the origin space rippled with energy, however no one could get close to it. Within the origin space, the white-clothed Luofeng sat cross-legged in the center of the whirlpool. He couldn't forget the momentary destruction of the primeval universe from before. This was deeply engraved in his soul. Morasa has once demonstrated to me the wonders of the destruction origin space. Luofeng was shocked. However, the wonders of the destruction origin space are even brighter, even more stealthily attacking and destroying. However, the primeval universe represents the life force itself. The destruction of the life force itself is actually so violent and intense. The life force itself contained many laws. Life itself had life and death, and also destruction. The destruction of the life force itself. It was completely different from the destruction of the destruction origin space. The momentary destruction is for new life. Its foundation is life. Everything is for life, Luofeng muttered. And the destruction of the world beast is the destruction of the foundation. Scenes of destruction constantly flashed through his mind. The wonders Morasa demonstrated also flashed through. Both were destruction. However, the core was completely different. Luofeng was completely immersed within. It's time to leave. A formless consciousness engulfed Luofeng. Luofeng understood this. Pung. The white-clothed Luofeng immediately dissipated. This was merely a god energy clone. Luofeng didn't even want to split his attention to let it slowly fly back. He decided to disperse it. Within Luofeng's small universe, on a mountain peak of Nine-World Mountain, Luofeng sat crossed-legged. Trillions of eras worth of comprehension, the destruction origin space and the life force, everything was clashing. The path of destruction. Luofeng slowly walked on a path. Combining the destruction of the life force and the destruction of the destruction origin space, the comprehension of the two gradually formed. This clash of the two completely different origins shocked Luofeng greatly. He needed to sort everything out and comprehend a path that could explain his doubts. Once he comprehended it, he would have no more doubts. Time passed. Year passed year by year. I'm here on the orders of the ancestor to ask, has the Milky Way ancestor finished his training? Father is still cultivating. He can't be disturbed, Shimo replied directly. Back then Luofeng and the ancestor agreed that after comprehending the destruction, the two would break through to void true God and enter the reincarnation cycle. However, now Luofeng was immersed in his training. Senior Shimo, is teacher still training? Naku looked at the distant Nine-World Mountain. Punk, aren't you just going to tell teacher that you've broken through to Universe Lord? Shimo glanced too. Luofeng was still sitting crossed-legged on Nine-World Mountain. When teacher finishes his training, he'll naturally know. Naku snickered. As time passed, it was unknown how many times the flowers and plants of the Nine-World Mountain had withered. It was unknown how many visitors had come to visit Luo Feng. Even the mountain guest had come once. However, Luo Feng had always been immersed in his comprehension. This time, he had gathered all of his consciousness and was not distracted at all. Naturally, he had no time to receive people. 60,000 eras before the destruction of the primal universe, Xiemo and Morasa were guarding below Nine-World Mountain, preventing any warriors from disturbing Luo Feng. Hua! The white-robed Luo Feng who was sitting at the peak suddenly opened his eyes. Hm? Xiemo and Morasa turned simultaneously. The two of them flashed and arrived beside Luo Feng. Father, Xiemo said excitedly. Master. Morasa was extremely excited too. Luo Feng looked at them and smiled and nodded. Simultaneously he said, Xiemo, go inform them that I've stopped training. I believe there will be many who wish to see me. Yes, Father God, Shima answered and disappeared in a flash. Morasa. Luo Feng looked at the simple and honest guard beside him. I believe you've been waiting for a long time. Morasa smiled. Of course it had. He was a lonely warrior. The only opponent he had was Luo Feng, and he was also his master. Naturally he was looking forward to something new. Like entering the reincarnation cycle? Master, have you broken through? Morasa asked. Of course I've improved. Luo Feng mocked. If I didn't improve even after personally experiencing the destruction of the primal universe, then how stupid would I be? Before this comprehension, Luo Feng had already reached the limit of void real God. The masters of the universe usually created their own secret techniques from rank 3 to rank 5. Many masters of the universe were stuck at the peak of rank 5. To be able to create a rank 6 secret technique, if one didn't insist on taking the path of God power, one would have reached the requirements of a true God. True gods usually created their own secret techniques from rank 7 to rank 9. For example, Chaos, God's Eye, Ju-He, etc. If one could create a rank 10 secret technique, he would be able to become a void real god. Void real gods were usually rank 11 to rank 13. If one could create a rank 14 secret technique, he would be able to become an eternal real god. For example, when Luo Feng fought with the realm beast Mo-He, he could already create a top rank 12 secret technique. After more than 60 billion eras of training and interacting with Morasa, he could also create a top rank 13 secret technique. That was the limit of a void real god. This time, Luo Feng comprehended for 360,000 eras and improved greatly. Destruction of the source of life. Destruction of the source of destruction. It allowed Luo Feng to comprehend the path of destruction. In terms of realm, Luo Feng had already stepped into the level of an eternal real god. Of course, this was because he had personally experienced the destruction of the primeval universe. After all, the further one went, the harder it was to improve. This was evident from the fact that East Emperor Ancestor and Purple Moon Ancestor couldn't break through. Feng. A silhouette flew over. It was Su Xian, who knew that Luo Feng had finished his comprehension. Luo Feng smiled and welcomed her. You've finally finished cultivating. Even Mountain Traveler came to find you, Su Xian said. No rush. Luo Feng asked, Oh right, has the primeval universe been born? It has been born. The new reincarnation era has begun. Su Xian nodded. Follow me. Luo Feng's eyes lit up. He took a step. Luo Feng brought Su Xian and teleported to the edge of his small universe before leaving. Luo Feng's small universe was not far from the primeval universe. With a glance, Luo Feng's gaze pierced through the void and he easily saw the primeval universe. At this time, the primeval universe was hazy. It was surrounded by endless energy flows. It was the initial birth state. Its interior was slowly being nurtured. It was unknown if the first life forms of this reincarnation era had been born. Rise and fall. Luo Feng looked at the scene filled with life. He couldn't help but say softly, the primeval universe from before had multiplied to its limit. The number of life forms had reached its limit. Hence, an intense destruction occurred. That destruction was for the new life. Luo Feng's comprehension of his destruction path was getting clearer. Luo Feng thought, let's return. Su Xian looked at Luo Feng. The ancestor is here. Luo Feng said. The ancestor's god energy body arrived in Luo Feng's small universe. How's your comprehension this time? The ancestor asked. I've had a breakthrough. Luo Feng said. I should be able to step into the eternal level. Eternal level? No matter how calm the ancestor was, he couldn't help but be shocked. Luo Feng nodded. My small universe's evolution will take up quite a bit of time. Once it's more or less evolved, you can evolve it. That way, the two of us will more or less break through at the same time. All right, I'll return and prepare. The ancestor nodded. The ancestor too knew that this comprehension was the benefit of Luo Feng solving the world beast calamity. Relying on this comprehension, Luo Feng broke through the bottleneck and stepped into the eternal true God level. Plus Luo Feng had saved him too. The ancestor didn't feel any jealousy, only shock and respect. Luo Feng met with Mountain Guest and the Primal Chaos City leader before beginning his breakthrough. Rise. Standing within the small universe's origin space, Luo Feng roared loudly. Rumble! 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 Many space tunnels formed one after another. Every tunnel appeared in the space outside the 100,000 heavens, not harming any of the planes. Endless chaos energy flowed out of the tunnels. The walls of the small universe began to swiftly grow and expand. 1 billion light-years, 2 billion light-years. The size of the small universe continued to expand. As the size of the miniature universe grew, the space occupied by the 100,000 heavens would become smaller and more voids would appear. The more space there was, naturally Luo Feng would bring in more space tunnels. Endless chaos energy flowed in and accelerated the evolution. This kind of wantonly supply of evolution only happened during a breakthrough. And it only provided for the small universe's growth. As for Luo Feng's body, the god energy he needed had to be slowly swallowed and converted. 9 billion light-years, 3 billion light-years, 1 billion light-years. The small universe continued to expand and quickly surpassed the East Emperor's sacred land. It's too big. The galaxy's sacred land universe, just how big will it become? Its diameter is already over 5 billion light-years. It's much bigger than the East Emperor's sacred land. In the cosmic sea space, there were many true gods and universe lords watching from afar. Some were from the human race, some from the Great Alliance, and some from other races. All of them were witnessing this grand event. Mountain Traveler also looked at this scene from afar and laughed softly. It's still early. Luo Feng wanted to become an eternal true god this time. Naturally it was still early. Expand. Madly expand. Finally reaching a diameter of 10 billion light-years. Within the galaxy's sacred land universe, Luo Feng's body too was transforming. God energy. Luo Feng fiercely opened his mouth and inhaled. Immediately, over 60,000 billion eras worth of God energy within his origin space rushed in. In these 60,000 billion eras, Luo Feng's body had long reached the pinnacle of perfection. His ocean transformation could also reach a diameter of 12 light-years. At the same time, it stored a huge amount of God energy. This breakthrough, his God energy evolved 100 times. Over 60,000 billion eras worth of accumulation was instantly consumed by 80%. This caused Luo Feng's body to reach perfection. However, it was only at the void true God level. After so long, it's still not enough. Once I become an eternal true God, my god energy will still be lacking. Luo Feng shook his head. Continue. After his body broke through, many space tunnels appeared in the galaxy's sacred land universe. Endless chaos energy flowed in and was constantly absorbed, causing the small universe to continue expanding. 1 billion light years, 2 billion light years, 30 billion light years, 60 billion light years. As it continued to expand, it also took longer and longer. The various true gods and universe lords were all stunned. My god, the East Emperor's sacred land universe was only 2 billion light years in diameter. Just how big was Luo Feng's galaxy's sacred land universe? And at this time, the Ancestors' universe also began to transform. It swiftly expanded. The Ancestors' universe has expanded too. It's already 8 billion light years in diameter and still expanding. It can't be as terrifying as the Milky Way lords, right? The warriors of the various races discussed. At the same time, they envied the humans because they had two sacred land universes. The Ancestors' universe has already stopped expanding. It's at 2 billion light years in diameter. It can't compare to the Milky Way lords. The Ancestors was a late evolution, but it succeeded first. After the Ancestors' universe reached 2 billion light years in diameter, Luo Feng's exceeded 90 billion. After another month, it finally reached 100 billion. Finally, everything stopped. 100 billion light years. Mountain Passenger was shocked too. Legend, this is a legend. For an eternal level universe to reach this step, it's already perfection. It's something that only exists in legends. Father God, that's too powerful. Xiemo was also extremely excited in space. The other race true gods were all dumbstruck. However, they could accept it deep down, because the one who created this miracle was Luo Feng. Luo Feng had long been a legend in the universe. See. My god energy has been condensed 100 times. Luo Feng's 6 pairs of wings expanded. He hadn't been able to completely repair the 5th pair of wings in over 60 billion eras. However, it was repaired in an instant. However, my small universe's god energy reserves aren't enough. My current ocean form can only reach a diameter of 2 light years. The god energy reserves from before were more than enough to become a void true god. He was still far from becoming an eternal true god. Luckily, my current small universe is much bigger than before. The efficiency of devouring and converting god energy is much higher too. Luo Feng nodded. The galaxy's sacred land universe was too huge. The devouring of chaos energy formed a huge whirlpool. Even universe lords had to ride their palace treasures to pass through, otherwise they would be minced and killed. Who? Luo Feng took a step and left the origin space. He arrived at the galaxy's sacred land universe's 9-world mountain. His family was waiting for him here. Ha! Luo Feng smiled as he walked over. Suddenly, his smile froze. A formless ripple passed through the galaxy's sacred land universe and transmitted a message. 1 year. Luo Feng muttered. He understood. Now that he had broken through to eternal true God, he had to attempt reincarnation within a year. Although it was said to be a year, the ancestor had broken through a month earlier. As long as the two of them attempted reincarnation together, Luo Feng actually only had 11 months left. Dad, Mom. Luo Feng smiled as he went to talk to his parents. Luo Feng and the ancestor met once and discussed. They agreed to head to Qing Feng World 10 months later to attempt reincarnation. And these 10 months were for everything to be arranged. Within these 10 months, Luo Feng had met many people, growing up from Earth. Those who influenced him, those he had influenced, were many people. His children of the tranquil ocean lineage, like Shima and the rest, were still alive. His old friends from Earth, such as Wei Wen and the others. His good friends from the Virtual Universe Company, like Bolin, Rong Jun, Two-Man, Wuka. Even though their talents were not bad, becoming a Universe Lord was extremely difficult. becoming a true god was even harder. Like Luo Feng's son Luo Hai, his encounters were absolutely perfect. However, he never broke through to Universe Lord. Bolin and Rong Jun both became Universe Lords in the end, while Wuka became a Universe Paragon. As for that batch of geniuses back then, some fell during the tempering, and some didn't even become undying. They didn't even live to see the day when humanity obtained the ancient civilization. Back then, of the three brothers of Earth, Luo Feng didn't need to be mentioned. Hong was naturally a true god. As for Thunder God, even with Luo Feng's help and Earth's help, Thunder God was after all an elder of Earth's bloodline. However, Thunder God only barely became a Universe Lord. True Yen too was only at the Universe Lord level. Teacher, you can definitely break through to True God in my small universe, Luo Feng said to True Yen. To me, splitting a small universe isn't much. Then, official Priyu. True Yen was nervous. Back then in Demon Note Mountain, even though she schemed against me, she had her reasons. And that was a long time ago. Teacher, you don't have to worry about it, Luo Feng said. The reason Priyu schemed against Luo Feng back then was to take revenge on True Yen. There was also a history of love involved. True Yen's lover had died long ago. True Yen was filled with guilt. Even though he knew Priyu hated him, he could only bear with it. Priyu schemed against Luo Feng, and after it was discovered, it was True Yen who pleaded for her. This time when they moved to the small universe, Priyu was moved to the ancestors' universe. It was also True Yen's help. Even Priyu and True Yen's feelings for each other became unclear. Before leaving for the reincarnation, Luo Feng gave his disciples another lesson, and then left. Outside the peak world, a ship floated. Within it stood many silhouettes. Primal Chaos City Leader, True Yen, Mountain Guest, Luo Honggua, Gong Xian Lan, Su Xian, Luo Ping, Luo Hai, Luo Hua, Dark True God, Ice Peak and Dragon Travel. They were here to send Luo Feng and the Ancestor. Relax, if Luo Feng met with danger in the reincarnation, then East Emperor Ancestor and Purple Moon Ancestor would have died long ago. Mountain Guest was the most relaxed. So. In the distance, a star pagoda and a ship flew simultaneously towards the peak world. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 15-16. A star tower and a boat were swiftly entering Pinnacle World. One of them was an eternal true god and the other was a void true god. Naturally, they could pass through many obstacles easily. They already knew the approximate location of reincarnation. Ancestor, do you feel the summoning? Luo Feng asked. I feel it. It's right in front. Ancestor replied. According to the maps left behind by past experts, reincarnation is right in front. After a while, with the star tower in front and the boat behind, they arrived at a vast region. That is. Luo Feng looked afar. Morosa stood beside him. That should be reincarnation, Morosa said. Luo Feng looked carefully. There was nothing in the vast space. There was only a huge passageway entrance with colorful energy flowing on the surface. At the entrance of the passageway there were blurry figures. They looked like humans but also like beasts. With a glance, there were billions of figures passing by the entrance of the passageway. It's reincarnation. Luo Feng felt the powerful summoning. At the same time, the supreme laws rippled. It was obviously guiding Luo Feng and Ancestor into the reincarnation. Moreover, the maps passed down from generation to generation pointed to this place too. Let's check it out, Ancestor said. Yes. Luo Feng agreed. They started to check the entrance of reincarnation. However, they couldn't find out what was going on inside. Luo Feng, are you going first or should I? Ancestor said. I'll go first. Luo Feng was confident. His star tower was a god-king weapon, and he was an eternal true god. Moreover, one of them had to enter first. He couldn't let the Ancestor go first. Star tower flew slowly. Gradually, part of it entered the colorful light on the reincarnation passage. Then, it completely entered. Luo Feng, Luo Feng, Luo Feng. Ancestor couldn't sense Luo Feng anymore. He took out a token. It was a message token. In Luo Feng's small universe, Luo Feng's god clone was there. Naturally, he had a message token. Luo Feng. Ancestor. Luo Feng's god clone replied. How is it? Ancestor asked. Come in. I'm fine. Luo Feng replied. Luo Feng was in shock. He indeed didn't meet any danger. Moreover, he felt extremely comfortable when he entered the reincarnation passage. This is the reincarnation passageway. Luo Feng stood within the star pagoda and looked outside. All he could see was the flowing light of the reincarnation pathway. Countless blurry silhouettes appeared and disappeared at times. Some looked like humans, some looked like beasts, some looked like plants. Anyway, there were all sorts of strange shapes and sizes. Countless silhouettes were swiftly flying past. Just what's going on? Luo Feng arranged for Maruza to go to another cabin, after which, he flipped his hand and a golden crystal appeared in it. This was Mountain Passenger's gold crystal. Hua! A figure materialized above the golden crystal. It was Mountain Traveler. Mountain Traveler smiled as he looked outside. Oh, you've already entered reincarnation? Teacher. Luo Feng looked at the Mountain Passenger. He had too many questions. Teacher, what exactly do you want me to do? You can tell me now, right? Also, teacher, how did you get the 9 Tribulations Mystic Tome? And the Star Tower, that should be a godly monarch weapon. Ha, take your time, take your time. We're not in a hurry. Mountain Passenger laughed. Luo Feng took a deep breath. Teacher, please speak. I know a lot, much more than you can imagine. Mountain Passenger said. The Star Tower is indeed a godly monarch weapon, and it was indeed crafted by me. What? Luo Feng was shocked. A godly monarch weapon crafted by Mountain Passenger? Could it be that Mountain Passenger was a godly monarch? But it was a fact that Mountain Passenger had a small universe. I was able to craft the Star Tower, so naturally I'm a godly monarch. Moreover, I'm an expert in crafting treasures. Mountain Passenger looked at Luo Feng. His eyes were filled with glee and pride. I'm the Gene Godly Monarch. Gene Godly Monarch? Luo Feng was stunned. How could Mountain Passenger be the Gene Godly Monarch? He had once appraised the Star Tower in the Gene world. However, the Gene Godly Monarch's consciousness in the Gene world couldn't recognize it at all. But I've appraised the Star Tower in the Gene world. Luo Feng couldn't help but say. Don't rush, listen to me slowly. Mountain Passenger's eyes were filled with complex emotions. Luo Feng nodded obediently and listened carefully. He had a feeling that Mountain Passenger was most likely the Gene Godly Monarch. Let me first briefly explain the division of power. You'll understand the rest of the story more easily. Mountain Passenger said. Starting from true God, void true God, eternal true God, primal chaos dominator, sage and godly monarch. From true God to eternal true God, I'm sure you know them all. Luo Feng nodded obediently. Eternal true gods can form a small universe with a thought. They've already comprehended some of the mysteries of the universe. Mountain Passenger said. For example, comprehending the origins of fire and water, space and time, light and darkness, as long as you comprehend any one of them, you'll become an eternal true God. Luo Feng comprehended the origin of life and death. The origin of life and death was just the beginning of Luo Feng's path of destruction. One more step and you'll have to control the primal chaos. All sorts of laws originate from the primal chaos. This is the ultimate law. Controlling the primal chaos is the primal chaos dominator. Enough to be called a sage. This step is incomparably difficult. Who knows how many eternal true gods can't break through? Back when the Gene country was at its peak, there were many eternal true gods under our command. However, there were only about 10 sages. Once you control the primal chaos, you can transform your heart of true God into a primal chaos space. All of this has to be done by yourself. Hence, you can only do it after you've mastered the primal chaos laws. Mountain Passenger said. Luo Feng's heart stirred. He also had the heart of true God. The heart of true God was just a space that hid the soul and communicated with the origin of a small universe. After you have the primal chaos space, you can store large amounts of God energy within it. Mountain Passenger said. You can accumulate more and more God energy. If you take another step and become a godly monarch, you'll be able to control the primal chaos space within your body and transform it into a small universe. Mountain Passenger laughed. The gene world is a small universe that I've opened within my body. This small universe may seem small, but it's actually huge and can nurture large amounts of experts. However, the perfection and strength of the universe depends on yourself. Luo Feng exclaimed. Just like his own small universe, its expansion and evolution were all natural changes. Luo Feng himself didn't understand at all. To open a small universe within one's body, one had to first transform the primal chaos space and then transform it into a universe. This required an unfathomable level of control over the mysteries of the universe. Different godly monarchs specialize in different things. Mountain Passenger said. The small universes they open within their bodies are also different. For example, I specialize in forging treasures, so the universe I open is considered more exquisite. Some godly monarchs open universes that are very crude. Saint. Godly monarch. One controls the primal chaos, the other can open their own universe. The mountain guest who was sitting beside him continued talking. True God, void true God, eternal true God, saint, godly monarch. Mountain Passenger said. Actually, legends say that there's an even higher realm above the godly monarch. Legends say that at that realm, even the highest laws can't restrict you. Legends say that at that realm, you can even set the highest laws. Mountain Passenger's eyes were filled with hope. It's just that I've studied for countless years, yet I've never been able to take that step. There's really an even higher realm above the godly monarch. Luo Feng was suspicious. There should be. Mountain Passenger said. For example, the truly invincible existence. Yuan should have taken that step. Of course, as to how powerful that realm is, that's just pure imagination. Yuan? Luo Feng was stunned. Wasn't Yuan the creator of the Yuan array technique that he trained in? You should have acquired the Yuan array technique. Mountain Passenger smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. That's Yuan's ultimate technique. How do you know? Luo Feng was shocked. Even if Mountain Passenger was the gene godly monarch, Mountain Passenger had never entered the gene world. Only the gene godly monarch's illusionary consciousness knew that he had acquired the Yuan array technique. Mountain Passenger laughed. Do you even need to ask? The Purple Moon's sacred land and the allied armies, hundreds of universe lords, were instantly killed. With your strength, you definitely can't do it. You also don't have the authority to order the 4 generals. There's only one possibility. That is, you must have passed the Wu Qi building and acquired the Yuan array technique. Only then will my illusionary consciousness grant you the highest authority. In the gene world, you will have authority over the 4 generals. Only then will you be able to kill hundreds of universe lords. Luo Feng was stunned. Other than that, the mountain traveler said, I also had an elemental art scroll with me. After you became a lord of the universe, I was prepared to let you learn the elemental art, after you had sharpened your willpower. I didn't expect that not long after you became a lord of the universe, my corpse would appear. You entered the realm of gene and learned the elemental art, and the scroll I had with me shattered. Yuan left behind this ultimate technique. Naturally, he left behind many scrolls. However, the moment someone learns it, all the other scrolls will sense it and automatically shatter. Mountain Passenger said. Luo Feng was stunned. The scroll I had with me was shattered. Your endless sea of tranquil ocean once released waves of willpower. Plus, hundreds of universe lords were instantly killed. Do you still need to ask? Naturally, it's because you learned the Yuan array technique. Mountain Passenger exclaimed. Yuan was an incomparably extraordinary existence. His ultimate technique was even more famous. Even the godly monarchs were envious of it. It's a pity that the best to learn it is an overlord. The highest is a true god. Any higher and you won't be able to learn the Yuan array technique. The various powers sent their geniuses to try. However, all of them failed. Teacher, Luo Feng asked. Just what happened? My story, I'll tell you one by one. You'll understand after listening. Mountain Passenger began. Luo Feng listened carefully. This was the deepest hidden story of Mountain Passenger. At the end of the universe sea, there's a continent. It's called the Origin Continent. It's also the ancient civilization that your various races call it. Mountain Passenger said. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. Ancient civilization. The ancient civilization was actually that Origin Continent. It was actually at the end of the universe sea? On the Origin Continent, I grew up in a tribe. I was absorbed into a treasure crafting sect. In the sect, I fell in love with my senior sister. I married her. I was an absolute genius that specialized in crafting treasures. I rose step by step. With the sect as my backing, I finally used the sect as my foundation to build the Gene Country. I became the leader of the Gene Country. With a loving wife, powerful and loyal subjects. Standing at the peak, how beautiful is that? It's a pity there's no eternal prosperity. Mountain Passenger shook his head. After countless years, Country Eater attacked my Gene Country. He killed my wife, my subjects and brothers. He destroyed my Gene Country. Everything I had was destroyed by Country Eater. Mountain Passenger's eyes flashed with madness and hatred. He couldn't control himself in front of his disciple. Luo Feng sighed. Countless years of love and family. Everything was destroyed. This pain. Luo Feng couldn't even imagine. It was because he wanted to protect these that he fought against the world beast Mohe. If anyone destroyed what he protected, Luo Feng would probably pay any price to take revenge. To kill a godly emperor is very hard. The three leaders chased after me. However, I still escaped into the universe sea. I escaped into the universe sea and didn't return. I went deep into the universe sea. Because I wanted to enslave the world beast. Mountain Passenger said. Enslave the world beast? Luo Feng was shocked. He had enslaved a world beast king. Mountain Passenger nodded. Right, the world beast calamity is a legend in the Origin Continent. It's an absolutely terrifying calamity. However, amongst the many strong countries in the Origin Continent, there's a country called Skywood Country. This is a country even stronger and older than Country Eater. The leader of Skywood Country is called God Emperor Zimu. God Emperor Zimu's country was once destroyed. Mountain Passenger said. After which he escaped into the universe sea. Entering deep into the universe sea, he even enslaved a world beast and returned to the Origin Continent. A mature world beast, I'm afraid it would require many countries to work together to defend against it. An uncontrollable world beast is a nightmare. However, after God Emperor Zimu enslaved it, it no longer went crazy and obedient. Only God Emperor Zimu's enemies were destroyed by him. As for the other countries, it's already good enough that God Emperor Zimu didn't attack them. Who would want to mess with him? With a world beast king. Skywood Country swiftly rose and developed. After countless years, Skywood Country itself became incomparably strong. Skywood Country's country beast, the world beast, naturally never made a move again. It became a legend. Luo Feng was curious. I've checked in the world of Gene. Why aren't there any detailed records of the world beast? Haha, the world of Jin in my body can only nurture eternal true gods. Mountain Passenger shook his head. How could the world's database have such secret information? This legend has been around for a long time. God Emperor Zi-Mu admitted it too. It's impossible to enslave a strong world beast. Mountain Passenger said. One can only enslave a realm beast that hasn't matured. Hence, one has to enter the depths of the universe sea. I took the risk and went in. Actually, many of the strong who had their countries destroyed and hated them went deep into the universe sea to enslave the realm beast. For example, your previous Duandong, he rode on a universe boat. It was probably a strong army. They killed their way in because they wanted to enslave the realm beasts that hadn't matured yet. It's a pity that even I couldn't do it. Naturally, they were all destined to die. They couldn't even reincarnate. Mountain Passenger shook his head. The deeper I went into the universe sea, the more I realized the endless dangers within. Luo Feng frowned. Dangers? At the same time, he found out why the universe boat was in such a terrible state that it became one of the 3 great danger zones. No wonder there were some messages left within the universe boat. They said that they had taken the wrong path and were filled with regret. Obviously, they were left behind in despair. The highest law of operation doesn't allow us to barge in. However, there's always a chance of survival. Hence, it wasn't completely forbidden. It only allowed the primeval universe's origin energy to obstruct me. Mountain Passenger said. Without the permission of the highest law, the origin energy isn't scary. However, with the permission of the highest law, the origin energy can use the primeval universe's origin energy. Controlling the universe sea is truly terrifying. The deeper one gets to the primeval universe, the more terrifying its power. Mountain Passenger shook his head. You can't imagine. Hence, I understood that if I barged in, I would definitely die. I began to make preparations. First, I left behind a consciousness in the world of Jin within my body. I left behind a scroll of the elemental array technique, hoping that one of the descendants in the world of Jin would be able to learn it. Mountain Passenger said. Following that, I created a treasure, the Star Pagoda. During the process of creation, there was indeed an accident. A golden light was infused into it, causing the Star Pagoda to form even faster. It was indeed a godly emperor weapon. The Star Pagoda is split into 9 levels. Each level has 3 levels of secret technique. In total, there are 27 levels of secret techniques. Because I wanted to head to the depths of the cosmic sea, to where the primeval universe is, the disciple I chose had to be from the primeval universe. Mountain Passenger said. The secret techniques I left in the Star Pagoda naturally had to be considered for the safety of the disciple. The first and second levels of the Star Pagoda have a total of 6 secret techniques. You can activate them before you reach the True God level. The third and fourth levels, True God level, can activate them. The fifth and sixth levels, Void True God level, can activate them. The seventh level, Eternal True God level, can activate them. The 8th level, Sage level, can activate them. The 9th level, Divine King level, can activate them. Mountain Passenger smiled. Of course, this is under normal circumstances. Previously, you were a true god, but your realm was extremely high. Naturally, you could activate even more difficult techniques. After I created the Star Pagoda, I placed all the treasures in my King Jin Palace. Mountain Passenger said. The King Jin Palace is my most important treasure, and also a godly emperor weapon. I sat on the King Jin Palace and continued to head deeper. Gradually, I realized that I could no longer move forward, nor could I escape. Forced into a desperate situation, I could only strip off a trace of my life imprint and store it in the King Jin Palace to execute the reincarnation technique. The King Jin Palace flew across the endless cosmic sea. Because my original body was already dead, Only a trace of life imprint was left behind when I executed the reincarnation technique. The puppets in the King Jean Palace continued to push it forward. The origin willpower did not have the permission of the Supreme Law, so it was unable to restrict the flight of a dead object. Thus, I finally reached the primeval universe. My trace of life imprint was directly reincarnated in the primeval universe. It became a special life form, which resulted in the mountain passenger. Oh! Luo Feng understood. The reincarnation technique is a secret technique allowed by the Supreme Law. Mountain passenger said. However, I still retained my previous memories. My realm was extremely high, and my willpower was extremely strong. Thus, the Supreme Law restricted me, and the origin willpower was always watching me, never relaxing for a moment. The moment I dared to touch the Supreme Law, it would definitely take the opportunity to suppress me. I only knew a little about the Supreme Law, so I didn't even dare to go all out against it. Luo Feng understood. It was no wonder that mountain traveler never fought head-on with anyone, and always used some trick. The primeval universe represents the source of life. It has unlimited possibilities. Mountain passenger said. Any kind of life can be born. The prerequisite is that there's a suitable environment. If I couldn't find a suitable disciple, then I would create one myself. I first wanted to nurture a race that was good at controlling the body. In my plan, the most talented person born from this race should have hope of reaching the third level of the 3 god bodies, possessing unlimited god bodies. Hence, there was the Flame God race and your senior Flame Emperor. Mountain passenger shook his head. I was wrong. The Flare Emperor's body is very talented, but his power of understanding is very average and he's extremely stubborn. Even the peerless genius of the Flare God race can't compare to that Hong from Earth, let alone you. I gave up on this method, and gave up on the Flame Emperor. Even though only warriors with unlimited god bodies are true geniuses, I can't force it. I should still think about the Yuan array technique and nurture a race with special souls that can break through more easily. Mountain passenger said. I've experimented a lot and finally found the Earth race that I'm most satisfied with. There have been many geniuses in the history of Earth that I've chosen, but they all failed to inherit the Star Tower. It's extremely hard for the Star Tower to recognize an owner, but from what I see, if even the tower can't do it, then what's the point of training in the Yuan array technique? What's the point of training in the Yuan array technique? Finally, you appeared and you inherited the Star Tower. Mountain passenger said. As for your Earth race's weakness, I can only rely on the 9 calamity manuals to make up for it. However, externally, you can at most reach 10,081 times your genes. Any further and you'll have to rely on yourself. Mountain passenger sighed. That was what I was most worried about. It would be very difficult for you to walk the path of the god body. Fortunately, you had a doppelganger, the Serene Sea doppelganger, and with the help of the secret technique, you finally succeeded after much difficulty. Luo Feng realized. He understood. Teacher, when that world beast attacked, why didn't you enslave it? Luo Feng asked. Was it because I wasn't strong enough? In the primal universe, I was restricted everywhere. Mountain passenger said. The Origin's willpower treated me as its biggest enemy, so when I became a true god, I used the normal path of the Origin laws to become a true god. I didn't dare give the Origin's willpower any leverage. My foundations were too weak, and my god power was too weak. Even if the world beast was lying in front of me, I wouldn't be able to enslave it. If I were still a godly king, naturally I would be able to do it. What's more, I was afraid that the moment I fought with the world beast, the Origin's willpower would suppress me and take the chance to destroy me. Luo Feng was shocked. The Origin's willpower is also very hostile towards the world beast. No, compared to the world beast, it fears me more. Mountain passenger said. The world beast can force it to destroy the primal universe, which can harm its consciousness. However, I, As long as I continue to grow, I'll definitely be able to take over the primal universe. Take over? Luo Feng thought of the ancestor. However, I won't take over. My foundations during this reincarnation were too weak, and I even became a true god through the path of the origin laws. Mountain Passenger said. Very quickly, I'll break through to become a void true god. After that, I'll ride Jin Wang Palace and go through reincarnation, returning to the origin continent. After that, I'll reincarnate again. By reincarnating in the origin continent, I won't be restricted by any supreme laws. When that time comes, I'll break through to become a true god with the most perfect god body, achieving perfection. Only then will I have the possibility of becoming stronger. As for taking over the primal universe, I'm already a godly king. With my high level, taking over won't bring me much benefit. This is also the reason why I'm willing to give up my small universe to protect your small universe. Mountain Passenger said. Even if my small universe is destroyed, I can ride Jin Wang Palace and still pass through the reincarnation passage. Jin Wang Palace and your Star Tower both have the powerful ability to protect the soul. Luo Feng asked. The end of reincarnation is the origin continent? Ha ha ha. Mountain Passenger laughed. Let me explain it to you this way. The origin continent is the origin of all dimensional space. That's why this continent is called the origin continent. All dimensions? Luo Feng didn't pursue the matter and just listened. The cosmic sea around the origin continent looks like an endless void. However, in reality, there are many different dimensional spaces. If you're not careful, you'll enter another cosmic sea. It can be divided into the 3,000-dimensional cosmic sea. Mountain Passenger said. Every cosmic sea has a primal universe and a reincarnation passage. The reincarnation passage has two uses. Life forms born from the primal universe, if they become void true gods, can use the reincarnation passage to reach the origin continent. This is the first reason. If they don't become void true gods, once they die, their souls will directly follow the reincarnation passage to the origin continent. However, in the reincarnation passage, the weak souls will be destroyed. Only the strong souls will reach the origin continent. However, these souls will lose their memories and reincarnate in the origin continent. Mountain Passenger said. In summary, the 3,000 primal universes that originate from different dimensions produce powerful souls and send them to the origin continent. This causes the life forms born in the origin continent to be very powerful. This is because the weak souls will be destroyed in the reincarnation passage. Luo Feng was shocked. The origin of all dimensional space? Core. The 3,000-dimensional cosmic sea is the foundation, the root of the origin continent's prosperity. The origin continent is the origin of all dimensions. Mountain Passenger sighed. It's also the most prosperous place. A few powerful lone wolves left behind their own secret inheritances. There are also some powerful sects, tribes, and even powerful countries. Crooks mixed in with the honest folk. There are many powers, but at the same time, it's extremely chaotic. And from time to time, geniuses from the 3,000-dimensional cosmic sea rise. Geniuses rise. Luo Feng was stunned. Yes. Mountain Passenger nodded. Weren't you curious why Purple Moon suppressed the human race and why she wanted to kill you? Why? Luo Feng asked. Because the human race received the inheritance of the ancient civilization and had the potential to rise. If they didn't suppress it, the human race could have given birth to many true gods, even void true gods. Mountain Passenger said. And your future is limitless. If you are allowed to grow, you might even take over the primal universe before him. Take over the primal universe? Luo Feng asked. Yes. Mountain Passenger nodded. The origin continent has many powers and many secret inheritances. How did the ignorant brats from the 3,000-dimensional cosmic sea rise? It's because once their willpower grows strong, they have the possibility of taking over the primal universe. Once they succeed, they can comprehend the wonders of the primal universe. Becoming a saint is a piece of cake. They even have hopes of becoming a godly emperor. I suspect that Purple Moon was absorbed by some power. That's why he knows the secret of taking over the primal universe. Mountain Passenger said. East Emperor is also in the origin continent. Purple Moon can't find him at all. He can only target you. Your potential is too terrifying. Of course he has to use all his strength to destroy you. The moment Purple Moon's willpower becomes a saint, he will try to take over. Depending on the strength of the primal universe's willpower, the difficulty of taking over varies. Normally, one's willpower becomes a saint. The hardest part is that as long as his willpower reaches the godly emperor level, he will definitely succeed. Mountain Passenger said. I'm already a godly emperor. So what if I take over? Actually, I don't even care. It's just that the willpower doesn't believe me. It fears me and is wary of me. Luo Feng understood. He was filled with anticipation. During the battle with the world beast Mo, his willpower had already become a saint. Over 60 billion eras, the accumulation of time allowed him to improve slightly. Especially when his willpower merged with the primal universe. It was as though he had experienced the destruction of the primal universe. It affected Luo Feng even more. His willpower now could be considered at the pinnacle of becoming a saint. You've also trained in the elemental array technique. Your willpower is even better at taking over. Mountain Passenger smiled. Once you enter the origin continent, you can try it once. Let your god body in the small universe try to take over. How will the ancestor be suppressed? Luo Feng asked. This is a matter of provocation. Mountain Passenger smiled. That's why he has to leave the cosmic sea and enter the origin continent before he can do it. Your main body is in the origin continent. Even if the origin willpower wants to suppress your main body, it won't be able to do so. You can try again and again until you succeed. That stupid kid, his willpower is at the eternal true God level. He also has the virtual universe and the primal universe. He has a chance of succeeding. However, his main body is in the cosmic sea. The origin willpower can easily suppress him. Mountain Passenger sighed. You and I are teacher and disciple. I've nurtured you. You should know that my goal is for you to kill the 3 country leaders. Before you enter the origin continent, I have to give you a few words of advice. The origin continent, as the origin of all the dimensional universes, has nurtured countless treasures. However, there are also countless geniuses from the 3,000 dimensional universes. In the earliest times, they fought with the aboriginals of the origin continent. The aboriginals are too stupid. How can they compare to the warriors of the 3,000 dimensional universes? Gradually, the number of warriors increased. Along with their reproduction, they now occupy over 90% of the territory. I belong to this group too. As for the aboriginals, they can only hide in some places of suffering. However, they are still resisting. Like the treasures you discovered in the cosmic sea. For example, the special wood used by the Yuan Ao Lord. These are the weapons of the aboriginals of the origin continent. Mountain Passenger said. They don't even know how to make weapons. They only know how to use special wood and special metals as weapons. Have you discovered that many of the treasures have bloodstains on them? Mountain Passenger smiled. Those are also the discarded weapons from the battles of the origin continent. They float into the cosmic sea and float here. Luo Feng nodded. He understood. Actually, there are many unknown secrets behind the primal universe. They all have the shadow of the origin continent. The supreme laws are protecting you. Hence, there are many things about the origin continent that cannot be said. Mountain Passenger sighed. You can only say that the ancient civilization has been destroyed. And if you follow the reincarnation path, You can appear anywhere in the origin continent. Hence, you probably won't be able to find the ancestors. Alright. That's enough. Remember, Mountain Passenger said, even the godly kings have fled. I, your teacher, am one of them. You must be careful. Only by staying alive can you hope to deal with the 3 country leaders. Remember, living is the most important. The origin continent has endless wonders waiting for you to discover. My consciousness has to be destroyed. Otherwise, if my enemies discover it, they'll know my secrets. Disciple, you can only rely on yourself in the future. Pung. The Mountain Passenger before him immediately shattered. Luo Feng was silent for a while. So that's how it was. There were 3,000 dimensions. Every dimension had a universe C, a primal universe. Their common origin was the origin continent. Right, the Duandong River inheritance is no longer restricted. I can completely read it now. In the reincarnation path, the Star Pagoda continued to advance. He had enough time. Hence, Luo Feng began to read the memory stone of the Duandong River inheritance. As he read, he knew more about the origin continent. There were sects, secret inheritances, tribes. Every city was a power. Or a vast mountain range was a power. There were also all sorts of secret organizations. Of course, the strongest were the godly kings who built their own powerful countries. There were countless battles. Organizations that had developed from different universes in different dimensions naturally fought fiercely against each other. Throughout history, there were many godly king countries that were destroyed. Time passed. Luo Feng's primal universe was simply too far away from the origin continent. Even through the reincarnation path, they had to fly for over a month. Luo Feng felt a peculiar ripple ahead. He couldn't help but look up. Master, I can feel it. We should be right ahead. Morosa said beside. Luo Feng nodded. His eyes were filled with burning anticipation. Back then, Luo Feng had said this before. My life, because of battle, became colorful and colorful. Because of all of you, I'm filled with boundless light. Luo Feng wanted to protect his family. However, a simple life wasn't something he liked. He craved adventure, he craved excitement, he craved battle, he craved to see even more beautiful sceneries. Obviously, the origin continent was where he wanted to go. The origin continent of the 3,000 dimensions. Light appeared ahead. Luo Feng's eyes were burning. Origin continent, I'm coming. I've come here to stand at the peak and see the most beautiful sceneries. In an instant, the Star Pagoda vanished in the light. A grand and mysterious, even more hot-blooded journey began on the origin continent. End of the book. It's over. After 2 years and 1 day, Swallowed Space is finally over. Before I wrote it, I've already said that this is a novel with a very grand and vast background. Does everyone understand after reading the last chapter? The different dimensions have a common origin. The Gene God Emperor escaped from the origin continent and arrived in one of the dimensions, which is the universe we're in. Hence, it led to Luo Feng's journey. Luo Feng has risen. Growing up from Earth, standing at the pinnacle of the first dimension Universe C. Now he's stepped into the even more vast origin of all the dimensions, beginning an even more grand journey. Is his background big enough? Ha ha ha, the last chapter only reveals his background. Luo Feng is a character I really like. He's a person with a sacrificial spirit. My life, because of battle, is infinitely beautiful. Because of all of you, it's infinitely bright. These words describe his inner heart. He has a heart to protect. Similarly, he has an unyielding thirst for passion. Close to 4.8 million words. This is the longest novel I've ever written. In these 2 years, I haven't had a single day to relax. Even after getting married, I didn't have time to play with my wife. I've even gotten fatter. Now that Swallowed Space is finished, I'll first rest, train and lose weight, accompany my wife and completely relax my mind. First relax, then prepare for the new book. The new book will be uploaded, estimated to be this year's December 16th. December 16th. Tomato will focus on preparing. The new book will be a xianxia genre. It'll definitely be incomparably exciting, I believe. As for the details of the new book, I'll post a separate chapter tomorrow and talk about it in my speech. Finally, bow and leave. At the same time, I'll steal my monthly votes and recommendation votes. The new book, we'll meet again in December. Tomato Night of July 21st, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidien.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 15-17. After finishing Swallowing Star, Tomato looked at the comments one by one. Some readers thought that the ending was just right, while others thought that it was a lousy ending and should be continued. There were two viewpoints, one for the ending, the other for continuing. Tomato was very proud. The first thought that it was just right, obviously agreeing with Tomato. Of course Tomato was proud. The second thought that it should be continued. Obviously Tomato hadn't read enough after writing nearly 4.8 million words. Tomato was naturally proud. But let me be serious. The current Luo Feng was too awesome. He had just arrived at the origin ground of the 3,000 dimensions, and he was already an eternal true god, with Morosha. Once he took over the original universe, comprehended the original universe, his level would skyrocket, and he would soon be called a sage. After spending some more time, he would be a godly king, and the realm beasts would also be godly kings. The two worked together. A realm beast godly king would require many countries to work together to deal with it. Luo Feng walked the path of destruction, so he was destined to be a godly king who was good at fighting. Killing the 3 country lords was as easy as eating vegetables. And there was the Yuan array technique, which was left behind by the highest being Yuan. With this technique, if Luo Feng was a godly king, he would be the most invincible among the godly kings. Even a realm beast king wouldn't be his match. The only thing that could make Luo Feng feel pressured was whether he could become the highest being Yuan. But that was it. And there were a lot of foreshadowing for Swallowing Star, like the blood stains on the treasures, the messages on the universe boat, Purple Moon's attack on Luo Feng, and why Mountain Guest was so awesome to be able to cultivate such an awesome soul from Earth. All the secrets were revealed, including the secret of the reincarnation. The reincarnation passage was a passage for the soul, and also a passage for the strong. One had to become a void true god to pass, or else they would die, unless they had some special treasures like the Star Tower to guard the soul. Mountain Guest was a godly king, which was why he was so powerful. Everything was explained. And the most awesome thing about Luo Feng and Morosha was that they could both be formless. In other words, once they changed their appearance, even their parents wouldn't be able to recognize them. This ability was too overpowered. A monster with 100,000 times the life force was destined to make a name for himself in the origin ground. Eating the 3 country lords was just a piece of cake. All the traps and foreshadowing were completed at the moment of reincarnation. Everything was enough. I've written everything I wanted to write. So much for that, I thought, I was just right. Let's talk about the new book. When I was tired of writing Swallowing the Stars, I would change my mind and daydream alone, imagining a magnificent xianxia world and another story. The more I thought about it, the more beautiful it became. Tomato decided to write about xianxia in the new book. Because I really want to write xianxia now. Tomato wrote novels. His first novel was Legend of Star Peak, his second was Inch of Light, and his third was Stellar Transformations. They were all xianxia novels. However, the 3 were considered different types of xianxia. The new book that I wanted to write was naturally different from my previous 3 books. In fact, it was different from all the xianxia novels. I don't dare to say that I've read all the xianxia novels, even though I've read many books. I can only say that none of the xianxia novels that Tomato has read has the same style as what I want to write. There seems to be a lot of mortals nowadays. Haha. On the Qidian leaderboard, among the top 100 xianxia recommendations, at least none of them resembled what Tomato wanted to write. Tomato was very confident. This will be a very exciting story. My goal is to surpass Coiling Dragon, Stellar Transformations, Engulfing the Stars, and all my other old books. I must surpass them. Because I want to write the new book well, I've taken a break of nearly 5 months to prepare well. I must write it well. I won't let everyone down. Wow, when I think about the story of the new book, my heart surges with excitement. Just wait, on the 16th of December, the new book will be uploaded. I definitely won't let everyone down. That will be a truly shocking xianxia world. The results of Engulfing the Stars were the same as Tomato's previous novels, 9 Cauldrons, Coiling Dragon, Stellar Transformations, Inch of Light, and Legend of Star Peak. Other than Tomato's first novel, all the other novels had the highest number of 24-hour subscriptions. This shows everyone's support for me. Looking at the recommendation votes, comments, and messages, I can feel everyone's passion. Gratitude. Because of you, how can I not write the new book with all my heart? Nothing is afraid of hard work. For the new book, I will do my best to write it to the fullest potential of Tomato to repay my brothers and sisters' support. Let us gather again on the 16th of December. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 15:18. Let's talk about Swallowing Star. 3 books of Swallowing Star have been published. If you want to buy it, you can look for it on Taobao or go to Xinhua Bookstore. Remember, the original book is published by Hubei Children's Publishing House. At the same time, the first comic version of Swallowing Star is also serialized on Taobao Comics, which can be easily searched by typing Taobao Comics, Swallowing Star on Taobao. *** to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 15:19. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Qidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 15:20. Tomato's new book is called Desolate Era, Book Number 250-2372. *** to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Qidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 15:21. My book, Swallowing Star, will participate in a limited-time free event on the free channel from October 10th to October 13th to give back to the fans and readers who have been supporting Tomato. At that time, everyone will be able to read Tomato's book for free. I hope that everyone will not miss this great opportunity. I am especially grateful to the brothers and sisters who have been supporting Tomato all these years, so this time, Tomato will take out 6 of his books at once to do a large-scale limited-time free reading event. The limited-time free of these books are October 10th to October 13th Swallowing Star, October 13th to October 16th Coiling Dragon, October 16th to October 19th Legend of Star Peak, October 19th to October 22nd Stellar Transformation, October 22nd to October 25th Inch of Light, October 25th to October 28th, 9 Cauldrons. In the future, Tomato will also do some activities from time to time, or cooperate with the official to give back to everyone. Thank you for your support. Chapter 15:22. Lord of the Snow Eagle, Tomato's new book, 500,000 words written,